A warm welcome to all my lovely audience. Today on IC Tales, we're going to be having an interesting conversation on nutrition because we have with us a nutrition coach, Miss Raksha Lulla. Welcome, ma'am. How are you doing and how does it feel to be here?
I am great. Thank you, Hiba. And it feels lovely to be here. Thanks so much for selecting me and for giving me the honor to be here.
Same here, ma'am. We are so happy to have you on board. So, since I'm so excited to know about your journey and everything, can we get started with the interview?
100%. Yes.
Yes. So, like I said, you're a nutrition coach. So, why did you exactly choose to be a nutrition coach, and what is the story behind all this?
That's very funny, but I actually never chose nutrition in the first place. I actually started out to be um, a housewife.
Oh,
Let's just say that. I was really young, and when you're growing up watching these Ekta Kapoor serials. They are, and it's true. Like, I'm being absolutely authentic here. So, I came from a household where, I was just romanticizing my mom's role and, what
mhm,
Ekta Kapoor serials were like. So I
mhm,
was like that, really gharelu, all along the household chores
mhm,
kind of a situation person. So I was like, let me just take up something light, So, but I was a very bright student and I loved
mhm,
science. So
mhm,
my first actual option was that I can pursue being a wife, etc. Yes, but I actually wanted to take up being a doctor,
oh,
and then I got tuberculosis, so I was in,
mhm,
like taking rounds of doctors, etc. for a year. So then
mhm,
I was like, what, chuck this. I don't want to do all this, hospital things, etc. So
mhm,
chuck it, planning.
mhm,
And then I went on to actually selecting marketing. And please don't get me wrong, it doesn't mean that somebody who doesn't have any aspirations should do marketing. It's a great field and it's everything that actually helped me
mhm,
pursue what I can do today. So I took up marketing because I thought that it's lighter. And let me be very honest to
mhm,
all the girls who will be watching this here today, that not everyone is popped out of your mama's womb knowing exactly what you have to do in life. Maybe you're guided and you're directed, so you have to be open to the course of the universe taking you through
mhm,
your skills as well as the what you're actually capable of and your purpose more so. So that happened, and then after marketing, I did a few internships because I was like, let's just do something, till I figure out my life. And I just did it for time pass. I just did these internships for time pass. I knew that, okay, finance not my thing. Okay, let's jump, let's do digital, let's jump, let's do a fashion blog,
mhm,
work with a fashion blogger, jumped again. Did few things actually, huh? But in each one, if I can tell you, Hiba, I learned a new thing. And I
mhm,
started realizing that I am so much and I am a lot and I am enough. And I have a calling for science and I have a calling for food because remember, I was very
yes,
home oriented. So I realized that home science is my thing. So I studied again, and then I studied, nutrition. I studied clinical nutrition. So it took up my love for science, and then I took up, sports nutrition. I took up weight loss nutrition. So I studied it all, and then I started off. I worked with India's leading nutritionist. I worked with Bombay's
mhm,
best endocrinologist. So actually, if you go to see, I got the food from the home part of it. I got the nutrition part of it. I got the marketing skills that I needed. I got the digital skills that I needed. I got the fashion skills that I needed. I got the confidence that I needed from marketing. I also got the science part of it from clinical and home science. So actually, I had so many feathers in my hat because of which I can be in this position of telling you about my journey. So I think everyone needs to understand that there will be little by little that things will come together versus just doing something and then it's not so linear. Life is not a textbook.
yes.
um so yeah, that's my journey.
So that was picking up things from everywhere, and you became an all-in-one package. So I am very happy to know
For
that,
sure.
and I'm so happy for you on hearing that. Great job on that, ma'am. Let's move
Thank
on
you.
to this interesting question which I wrote about weight loss. So people nowadays, they are fallen flat behind weight loss. They all want to get this figure and everything, but at this time, they try to lose weight in the wrong ways. So can you tell us some healthy ways to lose weight?
So I think the first healthiest way to lose weight is not to even keep that as the goal. If
Mhm,
people started understanding that what they need to do is build metabolic tissue or muscle in their body,
Mm-hmm.
You wouldn't have to keep the goal of losing weight,
Right.
because wherever you feel you are fat, you're actually not fat. Fat is just a symptom
Mm-hmm.
of not having metabolic tissue there. And how do you create metabolic tissue? By eating adequately,
Right.
by becoming stronger, by lifting weights, by doing cardio so that your performance at the weight training improves.
Mm-hmm.
And you let loose some water weight, as well as lactate elimination happens. So it all becomes this one chunk of eating properly, doing your exercise and cardio, and then of course actually seeing the changes when your body recovers because you sleep in time for about 8 hours.
Mm-hmm.
And you just keep supplementing, like how you would wear a lovely dress, put a nice lipstick, and then do your nails and wear a earring. So that way you just supplement all of this with basic vitamins and minerals, whey protein. Keep again adding things on along the way. It's never linear. Not a single client's journey is linear. Everyone comes from a space of needing healing in their journey, because they may have done too many fat diets, etc. So there are too many, and then medical conditions, etc. But the five things that I mentioned about, that is eating adequately, lifting weights, cardio, sleep, and supplements. Of course, also physical activity. These are the five basic principles that everyone needs to follow. As boring as they sound, that's the only thing that works.
I'm sure all those who want to hear this will have major takeaways from you saying this. So thank you so much for saying that, ma'am. Also, when I was, doing my homework and researching about you, on your Instagram, I saw something called reversing disorders, which you are specializing in. So can you tell us something about that process and what exactly that is?
So disorders are exactly as they mean. They are disordered health, and hence they can be put back into order,
Mm,
which is that they can be reversed. That would technically include high lipid profiles, which is cholesterol, triglycerides, LDL being high, or
mm,
HDL being low. We can reverse that with exercise, a good diet, sleeping in time, and all those things that I spoke about. Likewise, with diabetes, we have reversed multiple cases of type 2 diabetes
mm,
and managed type 1 diabetes to be better. Type 1 cannot be reversed. So, type 2 diabetes is again a disorder and it can be reversed. So, we've got people who were taking insulin onto medications, from medications onto no medications or very minimal medication, which
mm,
with their HbA1c coming in normal ranges every 3 months for at least 2 to 3 years, and then we've just like let them go because they learn how to manage things better for themselves. Besides that, PCOD or hormonal imbalances, whereby people who don't get their periods in time, whether their periods are delayed or if there's endometriosis. So we've taken care of disorders like this where people have actually started seeing changes and they started regulating their cycles.
mm.
So yes, that's what happens. So I think mainly cholesterol, diabetes, and PCOD are three disorders that we have worked on reversing. There are others also, but which are like in minute numbers with respect
Mm.
to obstructive sleep apnea, hypertension. The numbers come down. Not sure if the doctor could pull off the medication, but at least it's always below a 120 by 80. So yeah, those are the basic disorders we worked on.
That was something new for me because I was very curious to learn what this is, and now all my questions are answered. So thank you so much for that, ma'am. And also, speaking
I'm
of
glad.
hair and skin, can you give us some hair care and skin tips from your side?
So, I think that everybody feels that, you must be extensively taking care of your skin or extensively taking care of your hair. But one thing that I've realized is that the more you're going to use chemical products and the more you're going to be obsessed about putting a lot of things on the external,
Mm,
it's not where it comes from. Collagen comes from within.
mm,
Your hair follicles can be strengthened from within. So I would say that, versus focusing on what is it that you apply extrovertly, think about what you are doing introvertly, which would technically mean what is the quality of food that you are eating, the meal gaps, Are you eating things that are going to deprive you of nutrients that are important for hair follicle
Mhm.
stimulation? Do you give yourself enough exercise for circulation in your body, which can give you, a very natural plump look on your skin?
Right.
All of these things are important. And besides that, I think carbohydrates and good quality fats like ghee, nuts, people have just stopped consuming these things. Winter
Mhm.
delicacies, they all come, at a good time to moisturize you, your skin, your hair, everything. I went to the Gurdwara the other day and I had the Kada Prasad on Guru Purab, and there was so much ghee on my hand.
Mhm.
So I literally, like, others were taking a tissue and wiping it off, but I have seen my elders, always just like put it on their hands and,
Mhm.
put it on their elbows. And that's actually the way, right? It also
Mhm.
comes at a time where it's marking where winters begin. And that is a good time to start having enough carbohydrates, because they have B complex vitamins, which is
Right.
important for your gut and hence for your skin and hair.
Mhm.
Biotin, which you may have heard is very important for your hair, is also a B complex vitamin. B12 is a B complex vitamin. So you need that as well as ghee, nuts, and whatever your traditional recipes of consuming fat is. To put it very simply, it's really that. I have zero skincare routine except a
Mhm.
moisturizer and a sunscreen, and that's about it. And
And
normal coconut oil for the hair. That's it. There's nothing more.
since we spoke about hair, I must say that, ma'am, your bangs are really cute.
Oh, thank you. Thanks so much.
Yes. So let's move on to our next question. What is your opinion on body shaming, and how do you think we can prevent that?
So to prevent that, I feel like in the very first place, people who have lack within themselves are the ones who will project it onto you.
Mm-hmm.
So if everybody understood that the world is sleeping, and if you are awake to the fact that somebody is projecting shame onto you, it is because they feel shame within themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you wouldn't take that offense. And that would be the point where it's like, somebody abusing you in Japanese or Russian, you wouldn't understand it, right? Because you don't know the languages.
Yes.
So if you don't understand their language of projection, if you do not understand their language of hate, you wouldn't take it in the first place. And secondly, again, that is very evolved talk. But secondly, coming to earthly talks,
Mm-hmm.
is, I definitely feel like whoever holds this within themselves that they are not enough really needs to do a lot of work, because firstly, if you took somebody else's projection onto you, it is because probably you already don't think that you are enough. Let me give you a very, very basic example. Okay, if somebody told me that your bangs are not nice, I would take it because even I think so,
Mm-hmm.
right? But if you told me that your bangs are cute, I'm like, yeah, thanks, I know that. It's because I know that already, that it looks lovely on me, for
Mm-hmm.
example.
Yes.
So I'm only going to accept something if I already believe it. So if
Mm-hmm.
somebody tells you that, hey, you're ugly, it is because you think as well that you are. So
Mm-hmm.
the first error is that you think that you're not good enough.
Mm-hmm.
So you need to start thinking that you're great and that you're the best thing that could happen to yourself and this world. And once you think that way, no amount of anyone telling you anything is going to bother you.
Right. So the change begins in ourselves, and we need to start being happy about ourselves. Very nicely summed up. Let's go back into
For sure.
nutrition. Yes. So speaking of nutrition, what do you have to say about nutrition in children?
Children will adopt what their parents do. I saw this video of a man hitting his wife and then the kid hitting the mom too. So it's
Mm.
exactly that, right? If you're going to, kids will always mimic what you are doing because
Yes.
up to 7 to 9 years, your subconscious is still developing.
Mm-hmm.
So it is, when your kid sees that you drop food groups, that the kid also thinks that I can drop algebra and geometry and just pick a subject that will, I don't need to utilize my brains into.
Yes.
So this whole elimination also begins from where you start. There are kids who
Mm-hmm.
come to me and tell me that they eat gluten-free paratha, and that is because you eat gluten-free paratha. So we've stopped taking kid consultations. We are like, you're the parent and you need the consultation because then your kid will begin to mimic you. And that is what everyone needs to do and understand.
Absolutely. I totally agree with you on that. And with this being said, we have now come to our last question. I'm sure in nutrition there are so many myths which everyone think wrong about. So is there any myth you would like to bust? What would it be and why?
The myth about protein, because I think all of the world is just talking about how much protein you need to consume in order to be healthy, skinny, fit,
Mm-hmm.
acceptable, enough, beautiful. I don't know what that is, but you don't. Introduction of a protein at every meal is great, yes, because there
Mm-hmm.
is a transfer of amino acids that takes place between the grain and the protein component that you have introduced.
Mm-hmm.
The amount of it is good enough, whether you are a vegetarian, whether you're vegan, whether you're a non-vegetarian, whether you're a pescatarian. And it needs to be a small part. It is a side role player of your plate. It is not the main hero of your plate. And don't be surprised if you hear lashback on this. But
Mm-hmm.
it's my responsibility and complete authenticity to break what the world isn't understanding. Because first they thought that carbs were bad, or they thought that rice was bad, and then they were like, now just eat rice and don't eat roti. And then they were like, ghee is really bad, and now they're like, add ghee to your coffee also.
Mm-hmm.
So even this thing will change. It's just that everybody gets their head on their shoulders and ducks in a row when there are medical papers that talk about it.
Very, very nice to know that, ma'am. And with this being said, we have come to the end of our interview session. I think it was a great 20-minute session where we got to know each other and had a very, very healthy conversation.